What's going on, YouTube? You guys already know who it is. It's your favorite boy, Mr. Tyreek Rants, coming back to y'all with another video. So, I want to get into a real discussion with you guys, especially for y'all men out here. This is mostly for the men. But this is something I feel like every man should understand. And this is the first rule I think every guy should understand before they ever start dating. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? So, I'm a big believer of like crime shows. I love crime. I love true crime stuff, all these things. And I see a lot of videos a lot of the times of like men that get into relationships with women and then like the woman breaks up with them, or the woman cheats on the man, or maybe a man likes a woman but maybe she doesn't like him back. And basically whatever the situation is, a woman's basically saying no. And a lot of these videos, the guy can't handle the rejection, and he snaps, so a lot of times you see on these things like women, getting killed or having to get a restraining order or all these things. And a lot of times women are terrified and scared. So basically, the biggest thing that I think men should understand is understanding before you ever date, understand it as a guy, and they're not going to tell you this in society, you're going to get a lot more no's than yeses. And that is something mentally and emotionally as a dude you need to understand. You need to prepare your mind for the fact that it's going to take maybe 50 no's before a woman says yes to you. If you want to go on a date with a woman, I'm not saying every guy is like this, but most men are going to get rejected a ton. You're going to get a ton of no's from women. And it's just how it is being a guy. You're going to get a lot of no's. A lot of times when you go out to a woman, they're going to reject you. They're going to say, oh, I appreciate it, I'm not interested. A lot of times you're going to want to have a girlfriend and maybe she doesn't want to be anything more than just friends with you. Or maybe you are in a relationship with a woman and she doesn't want to be with you anymore. And maybe you still want to be with her, but she doesn't want to be with you. And she's like, no, I don't want you. And you don't know how to handle the rejection. So basically, you need to understand that as a guy, you're going to get rejected a lot in life. Not every guy is going to go through all this type of rejection, but a lot of guys will. Like, a lot of guys are going to feel rejected. They're going to feel hurt. They're going to be in their feels. But that's just a part of life. That's a part of being a guy. Rejection is just part of dating, especially as men. And I think that it's crazy when I see all these videos and all these things about women scared for their lives. And I think a lot of that is because guys don't know how to handle rejection and understand that no means no. I don't care how tall you are, how much money you have, your status. There's always going to be a woman that you want that aren't going to want you. That's kind of how life is as a guy. There are some lucky dudes that get almost every woman that they want. Yes, but these are a tiny percentage of guys that are fortunate. Most guys, that's not the case. I have had multiple times. There's a lot of women in my life that I've wanted to date or talk to, or I just wanted an opportunity to even take them on a date. And some of those girls, they don't reply back to my message. Some girls, they just want to be friends. Sometimes those girls ghost me. You know what I mean? Sometimes, they just straight up say, hey, like, I think you're cool, I'm not interested in you, like, you know what I mean? And does it suck? Of course, you know what I mean? It sucks, like, but it's just one of those things that you have to accept as a man before you start dating. It's just the fact that you have to realize that you are not going to get every woman that you want, and it's not necessarily possible to get every woman that you want. But the best thing to do is basically you need to learn how to handle the rejection and just say, hey, you know what? It is what it is. You think about it, you might be a little sad, you move on with your life, you focus on you get back up and you try again. Because at the end of the day, they say, what's that saying? They say, It's God's protection. If it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you. And I want to do a video about women too, about this more in depth. But I feel like men, this is way bigger, because in life you're gonna get told to know a lot more in dating. So I think that a lot of men understand this, but I feel like there's a ton of men that still don't. And I think that's the biggest thing, is understanding rejection's okay, and that's kind of life. And once you figure out that rejection is just part of life, and you come to terms with it, and you're mature about it, and you know how to handle it, your dating life's gonna get way better, because now you're gonna be able to like shoot your shot. You're gonna go and approach any woman, and if you go and approach a woman and you ask for her number and she says no, okay, cool, because you already know what it's like, no, and you just keep trying. You put yourself out there, you know, you're confident in your abilities, you know what I mean? And eventually, like I said, somebody's gonna say yes, you know what I mean? This is the truth. If you are the type of guy that approaches 100 women, you're gonna probably get, like, I'm just saying hypothetically, you might get rejected 80 of those women, right? But you might get 20 of those women that say yes, right? But if you're a guy that's scared of rejection, or a guy that hates rejection, doesn't know how to handle it, and let's say you only approach 5, you might get 0 out of those 5 girls that are interested, because your chances of getting 5 girls to one of them to say yes is a lot less slim than if you approach 100 women. So even though you're going to get rejected a lot more, your chances of a woman saying yes go up, if that makes sense. So that's why I say, if you get rejected, just keep trying, put yourself out there. But that's the biggest message I want to say, for men especially. Before you ever get into dating, I think the biggest thing is men need to understand that women are gonna say no a lot more than yes, and that's just a part of life. That's a part of life that I think that a lot of men struggle to understand, and you know, they don't know how to cope with that. So once you learn that, I think that your dating life will be a lot easier. Your mental health will be easier. Your emotional health will be easier. And yeah, you know, this crazy stuff that's going on between men and women, and just that toxicity because men can't handle rejection, you know, it's gonna drop. And that's the goal, is for men and women to come together, you know. And that's what I always want to do on my channel, is I want to close the gap between men and women, and I want to bring us together so we can understand why we are the way that we are. So anyways, if you guys followed to the very end, I really do appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video. If you guys appreciate me, like, comment, and subscribe would really help me. And until the next video, this has been your favorite boy, Mr. Tyreek Rants. Peace.